All right, so I'm going to be doing a little bit of a replay analysis. Two games for my good friend, the current convict on the run from 82L, Panda. Panda is a Legend 3 offlaner player, and in this two-game series as a part of MD2L, they went 1-1. One game that he lost where he said the lane was hard, and one game that he won where he said that the lane went well. I'm going to look at both games and give feedback and kind of see what exactly happened. Um, for those who are watching on YouTube, I get a lot of comments about like, oh yeah, you're not immortal, because obviously the Guardian gamers on YouTube have to cope for something. So here's this if you want to, if this is important for you to see, and if it is, then fuck you, get good. But anyway, let's dive into this replay. I'm excited to see what we can kind of uncover here. So Panda in this first game, he's going to be playing the Doom for the Dire team. And yeah, so as the game's kind of, getting started here, what's the lane? It's going to be a Doom and what I imagine to be a Nyx Assassin. I can't imagine this Abaddon's going to be the pause 4, but perhaps, if it's a better lane, they might flex it. But Doom is going to be playing against a Marcy, I can only imagine. Marcy Undying. So this is a very, very tough lane for the Doom. Undying is one of these heroes that is so oppressive in lane. But the real power of Undying isn't truly manifested unless Undying is playing with a hero that can easily manipulate the positioning of a hero, has good reach, good lockdown. Like, Undying is not that great when he's playing in a lane with a passive carry, but he's insane if he's playing in a lane with a carry that can go in, want to be aggressive. And Marcy is 110% that. And this is one of those lanes that is actually one of the best lane combos in the game, in my opinion, this Marcy Undying. And it is going to be the Nyx Doom. So now that the creep waves have kind of come together now, I'm going to, try and not rant for too long. I want to kind of like make my points and move on to the next thing. So let's go in first thing here. You know who the other players on the team are, so you knew going into this, most likely you're going up against the Marcy Undying, and you obviously also knew that you're the Doom Nyx Assassin. So this is a game that you are trying to not take damage. You might be able to survive with a Scorched Earth. Like, let's say, Tombstone, Decay, Tombstone drop, Marcy jump, fling back. If they go initiate fully onto you, you could probably live if you just pop a Scorched Earth and walk away. Obviously you take a lot of damage, but I think you still live that, right? But if this Undying gets like 3-4 decays off on you, then all of a sudden you're very, very vulnerable to dying. So what I'm thinking is like movement speed is probably a big boon for you. It will let you kind of walk up to the creep wave, get last hits when you need them, make you more defensive and not take as much damage on these initiations. But yeah, so item build, you started with a magic wand, iron branch, iron branch, iron branch. So you cannot start with a magic wand plus a stick. That might be something, or not a magic wand plus stick. I meant a windlace plus stick. That might be something to consider. Windlace stick, give you a little bit of movement speed, but I'm not totally offended by this. Actually, I might be offended by this. You have no regen. I was thinking that I was thinking you could still like rush ring of health, but I think this is very, very greedy. As much as Undying's going to be spamming Decay, I don't know if this wand is going to give you more value than just typical starting regen. I think it's probably would have been better if you started like Tango, Salve, 3 branches, and then just rush of boots. Either boots or ring of health, depending on how the lane goes. But yeah, I have a feeling that these items, as of now, are really going to compromise you, because these items are for like brawling and whatnot, right? Like you get down low, the enemy thinks they could kill you, but surprise, you have 18 stick charges and you like you regain half your life. So I don't like these these starting items. They're not really enabling you to like how you are going to want to play this lane. And in regards to like the philosophy of how you're going to play the lane, I think it's really going to be about just avoiding confrontation as much as possible. I want the Nyx Assassin to cut the wave. I want you to defensively creep aggro as much as you can. So defensive creep aggro, especially on this first wave, you can defensively creep aggro, hit them once, defensive creep aggro, drag them away to where they're no longer in the range creep range, and then you can drag either 2 melee creeps or 3 melee creeps all the way back to this tower and literally just reset the wave in front of your tower off this first opening wave. So let's see how you play this. Another big important thing to take into note in this lane is that Undying is obviously good if he spams decay, but Undying only gains real good power if he's decaying 2 heroes every decay. And it looks like you guys were able to avoid that. Now, one thing I want to point out here, I think, and I'm going to be spending a lot of time on this first wave because I think this first wave is so critically important. And I mentioned you want to drag them back to the range creep, you put them there, and then you aggro them again, and it looks like you successfully get this full equilibrium reset on this first wave. And I love this. I love that you do this. Now, you didn't go with the... Actually, man, props to you, Panda. This is even better. I was thinking the creep aggro, hold them creep aggro. You creep aggro to the range creep, got the deny on the range creep, and now you're dragging back. That's even better than what I was thinking. And at this point, this is honestly just about best case scenario for how you could be playing this. So I'm going to be really curious to see what exactly goes wrong moving forward, because I think it's not realistic for you to assume that you're going to come out of this lane on like a good lane, right? Like as a Doom, you might mirror the net worth as a Marcy, but if you mirror the net worth as a Marcy in a lane that is bad for you, that's still kind of a win for you. I mean, it wouldn't even surprise me if you could come out of the lane with more net worth than Marcy, even if you have like 2/3 the last hits, just by the nature of how your hero works. But I love what you did. Played really, really well. This is the big mistake. You played the first wave. It's still the first wave, but the first move you did was phenomenal, where you were able to bring it back to your tower. By these creeps going into tower, it kind of resets the work that you just did there. It sucks that you weren't able to get that deny. That's probably something that you wanted, but I think this is still fine. The creep waves are going to be coming into you, and I like this. I love that you're holding them. This is fantastic. This is going really, 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 really well. And now Nyx is dragging. Yes. So, this is a hard lane, and I think you're going to have hard lanes where you're not going to be the one necessarily coming out on top. You're not going to be living, you know, the dream lane. But so far, this is about as good as it could possibly be going. So if I continue watching this replay and it's just going like this, yeah, sure, it might feel bad. You weren't able to get kills, but like for what you were presented, this is best case scenario, and you're getting the pull. This is honestly like you might be a Legend 3, Legend 2, or whatever, but this is honestly like immortal level performance. This is really, really, really good so far. So props to you for everything. Literally everything they've done so far. I mean, if I want to nitpick, yeah, sure, you missed like maybe... there's one like egregious last hit that you missed. Maybe there's one other that you missed that you quote-unquote should have gotten. But like, I mean, if I was coaching like an unranked immortal, I'd be pretty picky about that. But like, this is... So far, what I've seen, this is far, far above your rank, what you're doing so far. And this is... okay. This is the thing I was worried about, where, like, the... oh my god, replay bug. So, this all happened so fast, so it went back 20 seconds. So, I liked the Nyx dragged it into here. That's fine. And I guess you were kind of... I mean, you're still... Yeah, this is really tough. You were, I mean, you're in your creep wave. Just the suplex, the decay, man, that's tough. A very, very good Nyx stun. One more decay, you might be in a kill threshold from one zombie, but if you hit the zombies, fantastic. Fantastic. Yes. I mean, you took a lot of life out. You did ferry out some tangos for yourself. Yeah. Yeah, fine, fine. And now you have a big wave coming in a tower, so great stun by the Nyx Assassin, good awareness there, and you're able to literally survive the first tombstone. And now all of a sudden, Undying is a lot weaker for the next, like, 2 minutes, essentially. Another very good play by the Nyx Assassin. You stepped forward there to kind of threaten them going on the Nyx that was low. It caused you to miss the last hit. Perhaps you could have both threatened and still got the last hit, but again, I'm not going to nitpick on that. I think that one was kind of bad, but again, I can nitpick about last hits, but I think on the macro level, everything that has gone on in this lane thus far has literally been absolute best case scenario. And if you look at if you look at the last hits, Marcy's 11 last hits, I've seen maybe 3 last hits that are pretty bad. Maybe there were 2 more that you missed along the way. Like, if you were just getting all the last hits, you would literally be like 3 last hits above the Marcy right now. And in a lane where they are undying Marcy, that is phenomenal for you. In our Discord messaging, you mentioned that this lane didn't go well. I think this is fantastic. This is really, really great. I would like to see defensive creep aggro. Boom, defensive creep aggro. I love it. I absolutely love it. I'll probably watch this maybe until minute 6 at the most, but all in all, I mean, this laning stage has been fantastic. Here, you definitely should have pulled this. I mean, you're kind of positioning over here, so perhaps you were thinking about it. In an ideal world, obviously you would have just came over here, aggroed the creeps, and dragged it over. I think there's a split moment where, like, you're over here, you kind of wanted to pull, but by the time the wave was kind of running through, you realized you were going to miss it. I still probably would have popped the Scorched Earth to aggro the creeps to drag it over, because now this is pretty compromised. But all in all, the fact that we've gone, like, multiple waves in as far as just, like, perfect execution, not the end of the world at all. Very good getting 2 of those last hits. Like, this is great. This is genuinely great, man. And it's to the point where this is going so well for you. I am beginning to believe that this is less of a laning issue like you might have thought. It's going to be more of an issue with how you played the mid game. So I'm going to be very, very curious to see just how that goes for you. And I'm going to be really honest. It's getting to the point where this lane has gone so well for you. I'm going to go ahead and start talking about the mid game at this point. Kind of talking about, like, what your role is in this game. I might just kind of keep this going live in real time just so you can kind of see what's going on as we kind of enter this transition into the mid game. But, so this game, you're a Doom and you're playing into Marcy, Techies, Storm, Undying Legion Commander. And you have a Templar Assassin, Wyvern, Nyx, and Abaddon on your team. Watching this live is kind of distracting me, so I'm gonna pause and kind of talk about, like, I'm super happy with how the lane went, and I think if I didn't know this is you playing, and this is one of those, like, game shows where it's like, guess the rank of this player by watching them just play the game, I would literally put you at unranked immortal. This was an immortal level performance by you, Panda. I'm not kidding you. And it's going to lead me to believe that's the mid game where there's going to be issues here. So I'm pausing it and I'm going to talk about the mid game. And once the team fights start happening, like, what's going to be your role? So anyway, I look at your team and, TA is going to be your big daddy damage. It's also Tector, and for the viewers who don't know, Tector is a Immortal 600 all-rounded player. He supports, he does everything, but super good player and perfectly competent of carrying any game that he's presented with, especially MD2L. So so you have that, you have the Wyvern for a counter initiation, you have a Nyx to scout ahead, and you have an Abaddon to save, and potentially scout ahead as well. So the way I see it is this game, right? The Nyx is going to be scouting ahead with his invisibility. You're going to have really good vision, I assume, of fights going in. I think that your team needs an initiator. So immediately out the gate, I'm thinking Blink Dagger right out of the gate. And looking at their team, what could be good for you? I think Vanguard is great. It's fine. I know Dooms really like to build into Octarine. I think a Blink Dagger is so important for you this game. I think the build that I would really like to see is a Blink Dagger or a Vanguard Blink Dagger, and then you can finish the Octagon Core if you really want that item. So a couple things. At the start of the game, at minute 7, minute 8, when you have Doom and you might want to join your first team fight, you might not even have Blink Dagger yet. But who is the big Doom target here at the start? If the Storm Spirit is present, 110% the Storm Spirit. You dooming Storm Spirit in like 2 fights out the rip during the mid game will cripple the Storm Spirit's game. Moving on from that, obviously you guys lost this game, so it will be kind of tough in the future. I think Storm is always going to be a good target, but I think late in the game, if you can doom either Storm Spirit or Marcy, I think either one would be fight-winning dooms. And I just have a gut feeling that we're going to get a point in the game where I bet you it's... I'm making my hot take, obviously this isn't a immortal gameplay, but an immortal level projection, immortal level guess of what's to come, right? I've done a lot of coaching, and I bet you the thing that kind of potentially where this kind of falls apart is that you're not able to doom these targets that you want to doom in these fights. Either they're just bad dooms where you're dooming them at like 5% life, or you're just not able to get dooms off on these big targets. So you're level 4 now. Let's skip ahead a little bit. So around this part, we're going to be sitting at the big game. You have a Vanguard completed. Great. And I see a Midas in your inventory. I'm not offended by a Midas. You farm really fast as a Doom. If you could get this Midas and a Blink Dagger by a time that it doesn't feel bad for your team, fine, whatever. However, I sit here and I look at this game and I see 2 heroes that they're very, very vulnerable. Like, these heroes don't want to die early. Like this Storm Spirit, this Marcy. If you get doomed, they die early, it kind of sucks for them really bad. And by getting this early Midas, you're kind of eliminating a lot of opportunities for you to get good dooms off on these targets. And I imagine if you keep on going for this Midas, I'm going to see you running around, hitting creeps and Midasing a lot and not using your Doom off cooldown. That's another thing that I'm kind of worrying about right here. So you're level 6 now. You have not doomed yet, which is fine. Like, if you don't have anywhere else to be, sure, why not? Why not keep farming if there's nothing else better to do? But let's just take a look around the map. The one big thing happening on the map that I see right now is this Tector rotation top on the Phantom Assassin, right? You're down here against the Marcy, right? And this is the first thing that I'm kind of taking issue to. So what's happening down here when you're with the Marcy? One, I think this could be a good position. One, are you stopping the Marcy from farming? No, you're literally just farming against the Marcy. Marcy's their pause 1. I think she's totally content, totally happy to be sitting here farming, right? Undying's down here, so if you do doom the Marcy, try to get a solo kill on the Marcy, Undying's there, she'll probably be healed. It'd be futile, right? So you're not really accomplishing anything. If you're offlaner that, like, this Marcy would have to F off and go jungle, great, fantastic, I really like this. But right now, you're sitting on Doom. You've probably had Doom for over over a minute now, I reasonably assume. Yeah, just about a minute. Which I guess isn't the worst thing in the world for you to still be farming. It's only been a minute. But one of the things that we were talking about is you want me to be about, you know, as honest as possible. And I think that I'm going to really dive deep and give you, like, my most unadulterated takes. So right here, you still have boots. You have the gloves of haste queued up. And here's kind of a shift between what I would be thinking and what you're doing right now. So you have a Vanguard gloves of haste here, right? And so we're at like 9 minutes essentially. So when did this Templar Assassin? So Templar Assassin died. Where did she die at? So Templar Assassin died top. Interesting. So this is a very early rotation from Tector to come up here, giving mid XP to the Wyvern, which is fine. And now right here. So Tector rotated top. The fact that you did rotate top is totally fine. You don't have Doom, right? But Tector comes back alive.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Right here, and Tector TP's top. And he TP's top literally around the point that you get your level 10. You stayed bottom for quite a while, and let's move back to where we were. You're still bottom, you're still farming against, you have this gloves of haste, and Tector's back top, right? So, I'm gonna tell you what I would do right here. I would not be going for a minus here. These would be my brown boots. I'd be bringing these brown boots out to me, and if I wasn't TPing now already to go top, once these brown boots got to me, I would immediately be TPing top with the brown boots, because I want to use Doom. I have Doom available. I'm accomplishing nothing by being bottom. I'm not stopping the Mars team from farming. You guys just farming across from each other. And who is happier to get equivalent farm? A Marcy or a Doom farming across each other, right? The Marcy's 10 times more happy. You're going to get passive gold. You can literally walk through the jungle, eat creeps along the way, and still farm well. Like, you are losing. This is a bad exchange for you, right? And you're not gaining anything. You're just actively losing. The longer you stay here, this farming against this Marcy, the more you're losing, right? And you have a Tector Templar Assassin up here. You have a Nyx Assassin. You have a big wave crashing into the tower right now. You want to use Doom. What do you need to pair with Doom to get kills with Doom? You need damage, right? You have a Vanguard too. Vanguards literally let you face tank tier 1. It's like tier 1 towers will not damage you. You don't need a creep wave to take this tower. Like, the fact that you're not TPing top, mirroring this rotation with Tector, is a huge blunder in my opinion. This Legion Commander would be dead and this tower would be taken. So I think that this is the very first big mistake, and it's something I really want to highlight. Is taking towers early is a really big deal in regards to, like, getting control of the map. Like, there's going to be so much more areas of farm on the map that's going to be scarier for the enemy as you take these tier 1 towers, right? And if you're playing one of these heroes that has this ultimate, that you want to use that ultimate as soon as you get it, like, even if you TP top and you force this Legion to run away, at least you're threatening the Doom and leveraging your Vanguard. Like, your entire kit right now, between the Doom and the Vanguard, you're literally leveraging nothing here by sitting down here farming. And I already know this Midas isn't going to be doing a whole lot for you. So, just to kind of put in the back of our heads, what are we losing here? Legion's farming. Legion's farming right now. Nothing can kill Legion right now. If you were top, Legion couldn't be here. So right now, what are we losing? We're not getting a tower when we could be getting a tower, and Legion is farming, right? And if you went top, your team would be getting this tower. Legion would have to F off, go someplace else. And just by consolidating with your team here, you could take this tower, sweep to mid. You could probably take mid tower too. Like, it's very apparent to me that these guys don't want to fight. Otherwise, they would... I mean, I think this Vanguard is a huge power spike for you, and you're really just not leveraging this Vanguard. So let's keep watching and kind of see what happens. But, yeah, you're not accomplishing a whole lot of really anything right now, which is... With how good just the lane itself went, this is where I'm starting to have issue. again, I mean, this Nyx and this Templar Assassin are trying so hard, Panda. They're trying so hard to push. They're trying so hard to take this tower. If you were just here, Panda, man, this tower would be dead, and this rotation never would have worked for them. So yeah, a great rotation by Storm, and they punished they punished this really bad. Just by you existing up here, let alone would this tower have been gone, Storm never would have wanted to come top because he's playing away from you. He's doing a good job, and you died bottom. To the Marcy, you still has a pretty good amount of kill threat on you. So yeah. I think you really... I like to kind of bundle these big tangents I go on into these little bullets that I kind of want to turn into like these bulleted heuristics to take with you. And I think here during the mid game, especially the mid game, you have to think about like, what am I gaining and what's the enemy gaining during what I'm doing right now, and what would the enemy absolutely hate right now? Where can I position myself that would be the worst case scenario for the enemy? And I find that when I'm in a state of like Dota Clairvoyance, I'm playing out of my head. Everything's just super snappy. Everything's coming super naturally. Like, I'm not even thinking, and I'm doing everything perfectly when I'm playing. Oftentimes when I'm in one of these days of Dota Clairvoyance, I'm thinking a lot about like, what's the enemy thinking? What are the enemy's goals? What's the enemy trying to do? And I think if you synthesize those two perspectives between like, what am I gaining here? What could be gaining elsewhere, as well as like, how can I be the biggest menace to the enemy team? You have to think about that, because with all these 3 minutes that you spent bottom, you're farming slower than the Marcy. Storm Spirit is, you know, getting kills when he wants to get kills, like, and look at this. Tector wants you to be top so bad. Even if he doesn't want you to be top, like, he needs you to be top. Like, the fact that one hero, like, if it was Legion at one point, it's Techies now, they're just keeping one hero, and literally while they're up here, like, these aren't the best farming patterns for Tector. Like, Tector wants to take this tower down in one wave and go, like, take on more farming patterns in the jungle. Like, Tector is losing a ton of momentum, a ton of net worth by investing 4 minutes top, Panda. He's been top for 4 minutes, and you literally die and you TP right back bottom. You really have to think about, Panda, what am I accomplishing on the map right now? And I think you're thinking, as of right now, is very, very insular. You're thinking, what do I need? And I think this is a result of kind of an insular perspective as well. It's just like a bad game plan. You're rushing this Midas. It's going to delay your blink by a ton. I mean, it's to the point where I would honestly rather you be up there with no brown boots, if I'm being quite honest with you. You are gunning so hard for this Midas. And they have a team that doesn't need a lot. Like, if they had like a Phantom Assassin, and that's still a tempo here. If they had like maybe an not an Ab, like a Terrorblade or something, but like maybe not even a Terrorblade, so there could still be like a pushing tempo strat with that. Like, if they had an anti-mage, maybe this Midas and rushing a super early Ags could be good if they had an anti-mage, because then you could get your Ags faster, you could bling on top of the anti-mage and not have to worry about him reflecting the doom. But like, they have a team that's going to be ready to fight soon, and you guys literally hit a huge power spike timing before a team built around a power spike timing even got theirs. And by you and your actions alone here, you are literally giving them their timing just completely uncontested, and you are completely kneecapping your team. So this top tower, like, once your team got this top tower, if you TP'd top at minute 7, even without brown boots, but preferably with brown boots, you walk top, you walk down here with Tector as all this damage, even without brown boots, You sit here along with the wave. The wave dies, but you face tank the tower, take no damage with your Vanguard. You take this tower. And what's next? The Legion probably runs away. You still have Doom. And where's Storm Spirit at? Storm Spirit's middle. What do you three do? At minute 7, when there's still this, your teammates trying to take this tower, what do you do after that? You take this tower, you walk through the jungle, all of a sudden, boom, no hero farming here. Boom, no hero farming here. Storm Spirit's here. Boom, you walk middle. What do? Take middle, uncontested. And then Storm Spirit, Legion was up here, right? Legion goes here. Farm. Oh, wait, I can't farm here. Go mid. Oh, wait, Storm Spirit's here. I go to the jungle, right? You come here and you pressure this tower. They can't fight you, Panda. They can't fight you. And then what happens? Storm Spirit goes to the jungle. All of a sudden, you have a Storm Spirit in here. You have the Legion Commander here farming against each other. Meanwhile, your pause 1. Who is your pause 1? I guess it's a Mango on the Winter Wyvern pause 1. Meanwhile, can I draw on the map? I can't draw on the map. Meanwhile, what happens? At this line and above, no enemy heroes. Like, literally, all of a sudden, your pause 1 has 3/4 of the map of uncontested farm by one rotation that you chose to do. And guess what? I bet you would have came down here, took this tower for free, because again, you can face tank tier 1s, and you don't take damage from tier 1s with a Vanguard, right? You come here, boom, take this tower, right? And what do you do after that? And all of a sudden, you and Tector and your Abaddon take mid tower, and then what do you do next? You walk bottom, and you take this tower. And obviously, at this point, maybe Storm Spirit, drops down, loops back around, occupies this space and whatever, right? But all of a sudden, boom. This rotation absolutely kneecaps the Legion Commander farm. It kneecaps the Storm Spirit farm, right? And then you go bottom with Tector, and you pressure this tower, and then all of a sudden, guess what? Marcy, you're right. Marcy would have been free farming the entire time. But what was Marcy doing anyway? Free farming the entire time. Then you guys go bottom, and then what does Marcy have to do? F off to the jungle. Maybe TP top. And like, the amount of space that you guys could have stripped and blitzed off the map with that one rotation from you. 3K net worth at 13 minutes for them. It would not surprise me. Bare minimum 3K advantage for your team, maybe even a 4K advantage for your team with that one rotation.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Your team is making space for you to literally accomplish nothing. You are consuming space. So much space by all the time you occupy down here, Panda.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And as a Doom in this game, you should not be the one occupying space. You should 110% be the one, not the one consuming space. You should 110% be the one making space for your team. And Tector was trying to start this process of space making so early, and you just completely neglected your team there. Yeah. So you did Doom, you did get the Storm Spirit, but Storm Spirit was already low mana, so I think at the end of the day, yeah, the Storm died, but like that wasn't... If a Storm Spirit like zipped into a fight to initiate and you were there to like counter initiate with a Doom on the Storm and Storm dies, that would be a crippling death for the Storm Spirit. Yeah, you got the Storm Spirit, but I'm still sitting here like, I mean, Storm Spirit got full resources, so who really cares? And you still go back, and you're still like... Now, obviously, I'm not on a Discord call with you right now, Panda. But I want you to ask yourself. Or I'm genuinely curious. I want you to, like, reflect. Like, what were you really wanting to accomplish down here? Marcy's to the point where, like, she's pretty big and nasty. Like, Marcy could probably just solo you, if I'm being honest. like, if this lane was pushing into this tower, then, like, maybe, but, like, I really think you should be playing on this side of the map, even without Doom being up. Tector has been such an easy and obvious target for you to be playing around this entire time, and you finally TP up here, but, like, at what cost? Like, the fight's over now. Now, granted, in your defense, maybe Tector should have gone bottom to get this last tier 1 tower. Perhaps I don't necessarily agree with Tector going top, but regardless, you do not want to be bottom against the Marcy, because if you and her are, like I said before, if you and her are farming against each other, sharing the same farm essentially, she's the one winning that and you're the one actively losing. I still think that's reflected in the current state of the game at the moment. How long until Doom? 6 seconds. I like this. Unfortunately, you kind of spooked her, so you're not going to be able to get the kill. That really sucks for you guys. Honestly, I don't really feel the need to watch this game anymore because I think the game has already been lost. Now, obviously, the game is still in a winnable position for you if your team takes good team fights, but, like, cutting it off right here, I already see, like, if you ever need an example to really think critically about what your roles in a game, go back in this game or this video, go back to, I guess, you know, maybe go back to the replay, so you have to, you know, go sit through me pausing and talking and stuff. But, like, this replay, go to minute 7, the minute you hit Doom, even before Brown Boots, and watch until minute 13. And I bet you that was a period of time that felt really bad for you. It probably felt like you weren't accomplishing a whole lot. I think you're probably in a position where you're thinking, like, I don't really know what to do. But I'm hoping that with what I've been expressing to you this whole time, you start to think a little more about kind of the way that I'm presenting it to you here, because you lost your team so much by the way that you played 7 minutes to 13 minutes. So that's going to be this first game. And in review, the actual lane, minute 0 to minute 6, you played like an immortal, Panda. It was great. I have 0 complaints, Panda, about how you play the lane. It was perfect, and I mean that. On the macro perspective, yeah, you missed last hits, but I'm not worried about that. The way you creep aggroed, Panda, the way you pulled for the most part, everything was fantastic. Your vision of the lane was exactly what I think it needed to be. However, the issue is that you didn't have a vision of the mid game. And perhaps this is improvement. Perhaps in the past, Panda, where you were floundering in your vision of the laning stage, now I think you need to kind of take that same critical thinking of the laning stage. What do I need to accomplish during the laning stage? And apply that to the mid game. Because I genuinely think this game was lost off of your back during those 6 minutes from minute 7 to minute 13.